In light of global lockdowns, exponential death rates, and a global recession, it's clear that measures need to be taken to curb the spread of COVID-19. Using sophisticated computational models, we've found that if the majority of people mask up by about day 50 of the outbreak, we can greatly curb the spread of the virus. If we wait much longer, though, this opportunity will disappear. As of late April, day 50 for much of Europe and the Americas is immediate, within the next few weeks. If at least 80 or 90% of the population wears masks by then, we'll not only be able to flatten the curve, we'll be able to significantly reduce the spread of the virus and return to life as normal sooner rather than later. To show how this works, we've developed an interactive computational model that anybody can use. Here's how it works. These lines represent how the disease may spread if no interventions are made. Blue is for healthy people who are susceptible to catching the virus. Orange is for people who have been exposed. Red is for people who are infected and infectious. And green is for people who've already recovered or passed away. By day 100 after the outbreak, a lot of the population has gone from susceptible to either infected, exposed, or recovered. And by the end of the timeline, most people have not only been infected and exposed, they've also recovered or passed away. These dots represent different people. In this run, there are 200 people. To begin with, 198 are healthy and 2 are infected. Now let's look at some parameters. The mask transmission rate is how effective your mask is at preventing droplets from your nose and mouth from reaching others. The mask absorption rate is how likely drops from the outside are to make it through your mask. While N95 masks are at least 95% effective, depending on the material, homemade masks are between 68 and 85% effective. Now let's press play. As you can see, when an infected red dot hits a susceptible blue dot, it becomes orange or exposed, and then red or infected. This is reflected in the graph. The advantage of this kind of model is that it shows you how much variance there is in what can possibly happen. Each time you run it, even with the same parameters, it'll be a little different. And this is to account for random behavior. Maybe someone shakes hands with an infected person, for example, and then goes home to unknowingly infect their family, and maybe they don't. If you run the model many times, however, you'll find that it tends to average out. Now let's see what happens if the population starts wearing masks. Look at what happens to the curves. Even when the masks are only 70% effective, it's enough to significantly reduce the spread of the virus. This is super important as it buys time for the hospitals. The peak of the red curve is much lower, meaning hospitals will not be overloaded. It also helps buy time to develop treatments and vaccines. Let's try something else. This time, the population begins by not wearing masks. On day 50, though, 90% of people start wearing them. Now see what happens. Although more and more people were initially exposed, as soon as 90% of people mask up, the spread stops and starts to level out. This means that even if people only start wearing masks at day 50, it's not too late to significantly reduce the spread of the virus. Now let's see what happens if only half the population mask up at day 50. This might happen if mask wearing is only recommended and not enforced. As you can see, the virus is not nearly as well contained. Having just 50% of people wearing masks is not enough to prevent the virus from spreading at a high rate. Finally, let's see what happens if people don't start masking up until day 75. As you can see, at this point, it's too late to stop the rapid spread of the virus. This is why we recommend that by day 50, at least 80 or 90% of the population wear masks. Even if they're homemade, this model shows that it can still make a real difference. Once again, as of late April, day 50 for much of Europe and the Americas is immediate, within the next few weeks. It's therefore important that people start masking up as soon as possible. Remember, by wearing a mask, you're not just protecting yourself, you're also protecting those around you.